Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Mr. McNugget Show. Today, I want to step back into the role of recording and just throwing some content out there, not really getting into the nitty gritty of all the inner workings and trying to be Mr. Smooth Editor. Just want to come on here and talk a little bit. And the first topic, given the season, I could think of is Halloween. And more specifically, the John Carpenter 1978 classic, Halloween. Now, it's no secret that I love this movie. But what's interesting is everybody has a different relationship to the things that they love, and there is a reason why I love this movie so much. And I think it has to do with the way that I was introduced to it as a child. It's a movie that I had no clue about. I mean, it wasn't something that we were watching in my home all the time was horror films, slashers, that kind of thing. It was just I stumbled across it. And I think that's why it sticks with me so much all these years. So what I want to do is talk about that first encounter with the movie as best I can, as I shoot from the hip here. Nothing's scripted here, and kind of show you, strangely enough, the collection I have of just the first movie. These are all just copies of the 1978 Halloween. And yes, I have multiples of it, as I'm sure many of you out there do as well. So let's get started. I was probably 9 or 10, maybe 11 years old. And I had some friends down the street, and the two boys were brothers named Adam and Jason. And that's funny. I have a friend down the street named Jason who introduced me to Michael Myers, but I did. That is the story. And their mom had apparently rented Halloween, and it was on the television. This had to have been in the afternoon. I guess the kids were just watching Halloween at like 3 in the afternoon, but there it was. And my eyes were immediately glued to the television. And I really couldn't tell you why. I don't know if it was the music that caught me or if there was some immediate alluring atmosphere that drew me in. Maybe it just wasn't that deep. Maybe I was just bored. Maybe I stepped in the house for a sweet iced tea because Adam and Jason's mom made the best sweet iced tea and just was having a drink, and it was what was on the TV. And so I watched. But regardless, I saw the movie there. What makes this a little bit more on the interesting side, at least to me, maybe it will to you as well, is we had a local mom and pop video shop, which I ended up working at in high school. But at this time, obviously I was too young. We watched this exact copy of Halloween in this exact case. And it still has all, I don't know if you can see that or not. The horror sticker is proudly displayed on there. I'm not really sure what's marked out here, but it was marked out then. And we used to, well, they used to cut the sides of the actual cases off, which I know is kind of a travesty, and then slide them into these cases. But here it is. And what's interesting about this particular copy was it is the very first way that I watched this film, but I ended up getting this copy because when I worked at the video store, a couple years down the road, the store closed and they were having a lot of, sales to get rid of stock and inventory and things like that. And I had to have this. And I also got the Halloween 2 copy of that we had in the store as well. So I picked this up, and it's nice to be able to have the very copy of one of your favorite movies. This and Back to the Future are my favorite movies of all time. And no, this was the way you viewed it the first time. Everything's still in here, still looking as good as a tape of this age can be. It's got that nice prominent silver on the top, silver sticker, the media logo on there. I'm trying to keep the glare off of it there. Halloween, the don't be unkind, please rewind. And some strange sticker here. Maybe somebody knows, EPDLU. I have no idea, but it is still in decent enough shape, but it has been played a lot because it's a rental. So on this copy, it has just the bare basics that you know from this media release. Color 90 Minutes, the most successful independent motion picture of all time, a horror classic that will scare you out of your wits. 1981, Media Home Entertainment. We all love the media logo, but this is officially the copy that got me into the Halloween franchise, and I own it. Now this leads me to the first copy on VHS that I actually had purchased for me. This was some time before I started working at the video store, sometime after this 9, 10, 11-year-old first viewing of that copy that I just showed you. And it was this one here, which I think is kind of a cool cover, but it's one of those covers that doesn't hold on one image very long at a time. But as you can see, it goes from the iconic pumpkin with the knife to the face of the shape. And it is full frame because I was in the camp at this time that didn't quite understand what the black bars at the top and bottom were in movies, especially when our TVs didn't allow for that. So it just took up real estate as far as I was concerned. I later learned why that was important. But regardless, I bought the full frame. And on the back here, we have just a couple of pictures of the shape and Laurie and a little blurb. I don't think this one had, let's see. It's been modified from its original version and formatted to fit your TV. It has original theatrical trailers, television spots, radio spots, and the featurette Halloween Unmasked 2000. But this was the first VHS copy I had. And then later after that, they came out with this thing. And I don't know if anybody else remembers this thing. I've shown this off before. It is, you can see faintly the face of the shape in there. But this is the limited edition, and it has 2 cassettes in there. And the first one has the film on it. And it's using a state-of-the-art DVNR noise scratch corrector as far as this master, which was done in April of 1998. This is in widescreen. I swallowed the bullet and went with the black bars on the top and the bottom for this one because I had to have this. Video cassette 2 has Halloween Unmasked featurette again. And interviews with Nick Castle, Deborah Hill, Mustafa Akkad, Jamie Lee Curtis, network scenes, TV spots, theatrical trailers, radio spots, and still gallery. 30 minutes. 2 cassettes. Put them on these cassettes that you saw a lot of Nickelodeon films on. Bright orange. Wasn't a huge fan of that. I didn't rewind it either. Video cassette 2. These would be the reused special features over and over again, though, so not a big loss here. The only thing I'm missing is there's a keychain that came with it, and there was a little booklet inside. It's gone. I have no clue. Now, this is kind of the diamond in the not rough, the diamond amongst many diamonds. But it's the one that stands out the most. My Uncle Doug had a Betamax player, and they had a copy of Halloween, again, in the media format, or the media branding, I should say. And I ended up with their copy. My cousin Dan gave it to me, and I have it right here. This is amazing because it is obviously scribbled on. So these scribbles have great meaning. For one, this is my name, Andrew. But there happens to be 2 other names on there too. Dean Cundy and John Carpenter signed this for me at a Horror Hound convention, which I'm very proud that I own this because it is neat to have the full complete box. This one's not cut. It's not in a rental case, although it does have numbers from a rental store on it. So I'm not sure of the story on that. So that's pretty wild to be able to see. So, I mean, it's the same cover as the VHS, obviously, but smaller because it's Betamax. The cassette's still in here and in really great shape. I'm blown away. It still has the Be Kind, Please Rewind sticker on it. I'm just thrilled that I have this, and it's nice to have it signed because it's one of those unique items that I'll always have, but it'll always have that, made out to me from cinematographer, writer, director. Fantastic. So let's move into the digital formats here. The first DVD was, again, one of these little doodads here. I don't know what this is called. What do they call this? There's a name for that, right? But this is just basically same thing as the VHS that I had before with that cover on it. I enjoyed that it came with a nice little print of the cover, or the poster, I mean. The poster artwork's on the inside. And it also has the enhancement for 16:9 and the television spots, radio spots, talent bios. It has a new featurette on it called Halloween Unmasked 2000, produced by Mark Cerulli, which I'm sure is probably a name many of you out there know, but I, for some reason, do not. I've watched this many times. This was my first copy on DVD, so this got a lot of spins before ultimately I ended up with this copy, which is the 25th anniversary. This is the big one here. I believe this is the one that came with the new stuff at the time, at the 25th anniversary. Has a nice booklet inside of it as well. And, you know, so some new types of artwork. We've got the window with Annie screaming there inside. And some writing in here, which, yeah, it's been a while since I've looked through this. It's got some good photos, some stills from the movie in it. Donald Pleasance there. And I am not sure who wrote this. A lot of these guys, unfortunately, I don't think were credited as much. Oh, this is Michael Gingold. Again, a name that I don't know much about, but maybe some of you out there do. Let me know. And it gives you the timestamps and all that good stuff. But the special features on this were pretty exquisite for the time. We had A Cut Above the Rest, Halloween, A Cut Above the Rest. It's an 87-minute documentary featuring interviews with a lot of folks from the cast and crew. On location 25 years later, a 10-minute featurette with actress PJ Soles and producer Deborah Hill revisiting the original Michael Myers house, which has been moved. And then it has all of the usual stuff, including DVD-ROM original screenplay, a DVD-ROM screensaver. So that's fantastic too. I wonder if that would work today. Anybody out there have a Blu-ray drive on their computer still? Or a DVD drive, I should say? I'd be interested to find out. And then I ended up purchasing this extended edition, which includes the television edition scenes in it, which I always felt like kind of ruined the pacing a little bit. Didn't ruin the movie overall, but it wasn't my thing. It's just nice to have it in there. And that, again, comes with this nice little mini poster. And actually, there are no features on this. It is just the extended version of the movie that was made for television. Then I moved on to high definition. And high definition, of course, had this standard little, I don't know what you want to call it, the beyond high definition in the banner at the top, and, you know, just trying to pump out as much as they can with as little as possible on it to get people to buy the new format. And of course, sucker like me, I did. So Cut Above the Rest is on there too, that featurette that was on the one I just showed you. So just kind of recycling what they had there. Cash grabs for suckers like me. And then there was the 35th anniversary edition that has this, I want to say, maybe this is a polarizing cover here. Wasn't necessarily what everybody was hoping to see with it, which was rectified in the future, but it does have, again, some really nice, it's a booklet inside of here, and, you know, a nice few essays in here to read, some great stills from the set of the cast and crew. Jamie Lee Curtis and John Carpenter there. So there's some really cool stuff in here. And John talking to Jamie Lee Curtis on the famous street corner that a lot of folks get to sit at with the pumpkin that the homeowners so kindly leave out. And I believe that this was one that was written by someone that I have heard of before, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check to see. Yep. Steph Hutchinson. Somebody who was very prominent in the Halloween comics, wrote the essay for this 35th anniversary edition here. And the only thing I will say is I'm not a fan of the warm color scheme. I don't mind the artwork, but I feel like the cooler color schemes work best with Halloween because it was shot with so much blue light in the film. Small gripe, but one I have nonetheless. And the last copy of Halloween, which, what are we up to here? We'll do a grand total by the time we're finished here, is simply the copy that came in the Scream Factory set that came out a few years back. So this is just, again, the copy of Halloween included with that. It has all of the featurettes we talked about in all the previous versions here. It also has, I believe, the television version. Yes, it does. So everything basically encompassed in this one version here. So they went back for the original artwork, which I think everybody appreciated, because that was the issue that they were having with the previous one here that I just showed you, was the artwork was not necessarily beloved by the community. So they went back to this across the board, all of it original poster art. And I think that went over really well. It's a really nice set, something we could talk about down the line, but I know you've seen it a million times. If you watch a channel like this, you watch other channels like this, you've seen this set. So my grand total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DVD / Blu-ray. Still need to get that 4K, even though there's nothing different about it. So I'm up to 6 now. Let's go to the cassette format here, the VHS / Betamax. 7, 8, 9, 10. If there was one point of question that I could try to get out there, maybe poke some discussion out of this crazy episode about me just kind of showing off how dumb I am to buy the same movie 11 times. Do you have a movie like this? Do you have more copies of the original Halloween? Have there been more copies other than obviously the 4K restoration of some sort that they have out, I believe? What movie do you have that you have 10 or 11 copies of? It doesn't have to be Halloween, obviously. What is the movie that you have bought so many times that you look back and go, why? I kind of know why, though. You kind of know why you did the same thing too, right? The things you learn about your childhood, the things that you find out about when you're young, they just stick with you. Thanks for joining me today. Talk to you next time on the Mr. McNugget Show.